In one of our last videos, we explained what is a COI and why most companies need them. Now that we already know the concept behind it, in this video, I'm going to walk you through every single component that makes up a complete certificate of insurance. The most commonly used type of certificate of insurance, or COI, is the ACORD 25 form. It contains all of the most pertinent details of your insurance policies on a standardized single-page form. It is important to note that this is just proof of insurance. A COI is simply intended to summarize and streamline access to the most important information in your policy, including the type of coverage, what it covers, the effective date of the policy, and the policy limits. Now note, there are many different edition dates and versions of the ACORD form, so not all forms will look the same. To facilitate learning, we will provide a COI template in the description below. Just click the link and download the file to your computer. Now that you've downloaded your COI, I've downloaded mine. Yours may not be as big as mine, but size doesn't matter. Yeah. Please refer to the numbered sections on the sample certificate of insurance as you follow along with the breakdown. Let's get started. Number 1, the issue date. This is the date the insurance agency created or modified the certificate of insurance. Easy, no? Number 2, the producer. This is the name of the insurance agency or broker that issued the certificate. Number 3, the producer's contact information is often listed in this section, so you can reach out to the agent if you have any questions or need to request revisions. Not all agents will work with third parties for revisions, so you may have to bring in the vendor, the person who purchased the insurance policy, when requesting corrections. Number 4, insured. The named insured on the policy has important rights and obligations that include paying the premium, receiving notice of cancellation, adjusting claims, and making policy changes. This is the person or company who purchased the insurance. Number 5, insurance carriers. This list reflects the various carriers that are providing the insurance policies for the insured, listed in section 4. Sometimes all policies are from one insurance carrier, but other times there is a different carrier for different policies. Number 6, you can tell which carrier provided which policy by looking at this column to the left of the policies. Number 7, the NAIC carrier is the 5-digit code assigned to each insurance carrier that is used to search for carrier ratings on the AM Best rating system. The AM Best rating system is a carrier ranking system that analyzes the company data to determine whether or not a carrier is in good financial standing. The policy commercial general liability is clearly labeled on the form, so those are easy to find. 8. An X in the claims made or occurrence box indicates the type of GL coverage. An occurrence policy covers claims resulting from an injury or another event that occurs during the policy term. A claims made policy covers claims that are made during the policy period. Number 9, an X in the policy or project and location box indicates how the general aggregate applies. Per policy means the limits provided are all that is available on the whole policy. Per project means the limits shown are the limits available on every specified project the insured works. Per location means the limits shown are the limits available for each location the vendor works at. Number 10, this additional insured column indicates whether or not additional insured applies to each coverage. Look at the description of ops or the AI endorsement pages for more detailed information on the AI status and who is covered. Number 11, this column indicates whether or not waiver of subrogation applies to each coverage. Number 12, the policy numbers are just numbers that correspond with the policy for identification purposes only. The policy numbers can vary depending on the carrier and type of policy. Number 13, the policy effective and expiration dates let you know when the policy is valid and when the coverage expires or ends. Number 14, limits of coverage. These are limits available on the corresponding policy in the same row. The various amounts refer to how much the insurer will be responsible to cover for the different specific events. For a more detailed explanation of these different types of limits, please watch some of our other videos, Commercial General Liability Basics and Auto Liability Symbols. 15. The auto liability symbol boxes illustrate the type of automobiles covered by the insured's policy. Number 16, an X in the claims made or occurrence box indicates the type of excess or umbrella coverage. You will also want to be aware of the boxes that indicate a deductible or retention in this section. 17, workers' comp exclusion checkbox. This checkbox indicates whether or not an individual is excluded from the workers' compensation policy. In some states and for certain types of entities, executive officers and/or office administrators are allowed to exclude themselves from workers' compensation policies. If this box is marked with a Y, it means someone is excluded from the policy. Number 18, workers' comp per statute box. In this section, you are most looking for whether or not the workers' comp stat box has an X in it, or if the other box is checked. If the other box is checked, you will need to confirm with the agent why they checked this box. Some states will not allow you to check the stat box if the limits are more than the state minimum. Another reason could be that monopolistic states like Ohio cannot check the stat box, which means they will need to check the other box or leave it blank. 19, other policies. In this section, you will often find your other policy information. If the insured is required to provide any additional policies than those listed on the COI. Number 20, description of operation box. This box is used by the agent to provide additional information such as project names, additional insured, and/or a waiver of subrogation, detailed listings of excluded officers, and other policy provisions. It is important to note that nothing in the description of operations box can conflict with the actual policy provisions. The only way to amend a policy is to do so with an endorsement. So language in the description of operations box cannot contradict what is provided in the endorsements themselves. 21, certificate holder. The certificate holder is the company that you are doing business with, which has financial interest in a policy. Number 22, notice of cancellation. Historically, an ACORD form included a cancellation provision, which over the years has been watered down to its current version, which states that the NOC, or notice of cancellation, will be in accordance with policy provisions. Insurers no longer are bound by any statement on the certificate of insurance stating that a 30-day notice of cancellation will be provided. Instead, they refer to the policy provisions. Number 23, signature. A name must be in this box in order for the certificate to be authorized and accepted. Collecting certificate of liability insurance documents from other businesses you work with is common practice to reduce the risk your company can be exposed to. So knowing how to read this information is extremely important. Thanks for watching, and check out other BCS University videos to learn more about these concepts. Thank you for joining.